Welcome everybody back to Boost in Motion, guys, and today I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion about going to the first scramble event of 2022 and my first time ever going to a scramble event ever. So before I get into the video, guys, please hit the like button if you are subscribed to the Boost in Motion channel. Please, I would really appreciate you guys do this, alright? But anyways, let's go, let's jump into it. So I'm going to try my best to give you my best opinion on my first experience going to a scramble event. Now, last year in 2021, I went to another competing company's name, Racetrack Not Street. And they're more on the NHRA type of thing where they'll have time slips and stuff like that. They're mainly trying to be an actual racetrack, right? Scramble event is more of an private airstrip event. Pretty much it's an unprepped surface because it used to be decommissioned airstrip. And you can do dig races on unprepped surface, 1/8 mile, 1/4 mile, and a 1/3 mile road racing, which is pretty dope for more high-end cars. Of course, there's a lot of restrictions with it. You gotta bring a car that's actually registered and inspected, depending on the state. You really can't come here with a rat rod and go out there and race the cars because they really don't want to deal with that. And I would assume for insurance purposes, they follow a lot of the top tier level things. But what I want to tell you guys is this: from my own experience of going to, let's say, an actual drag strip versus an airstrip event. The only other example I could really use was I went to Mod to Fame used to have these airstrip events. Once again, it was more private, and it was just him pretty much taking his friends and car buddies out there to just roll down a road race. Under the scramble event, they required you to have a DOT required helmet, and it has to be up to date, and pretty much that's it. There wasn't that much more restrictions outside of that. So the first thing I can sit there and say is, as a thing I noticed that I really wish they were a little bit more, pay attention a little bit more, is they should have some teching in. Now, teching in is pretty much to make sure that the car is road worthy enough to actually drive at certain high speeds. What that means is the car is not leaking any fluids, that the car doesn't have like bald tires in this case. Make sure the car has, like, let's say if it doesn't have an airbag, it does have the proper race straps or whatever the case might be. Like, that stuff is more with the NHR type of thing. But I know that probably for insurance purposes they didn't really look that deeply into it, but I think they should have, because you never know what can happen, especially if this is the first time I'm doing something like this at an event in Calverton, Long Island. So I would want them to keep that stuff running. So I think that's something that I hope that they move more into, to just make sure that they're getting to protect their assets, if you know what I mean. Also, I think it's really good for the average day person that comes in. They'll feel a lot more safety knowing that, all right, let me just make sure my car is running properly and there will be no issues. Because yeah, if anything bad does happen, they can still try to sue. What are the other? So moving forward, you came straight in. They scan your barcode on your barcode that you already purchased digitally, and they give you a specific band, and they mark your number on your car. Pretty much the number on your car pretty much lets them know that, well, you're racing, and that's how they pretty much know that. Now, if you guys didn't see the recent video, I put it up somewhere there, or you can go check it out recently on my channel. I raced a Q60 versus a Evo and a 392. Now, I guess they're trying to learn how big they need to have the parking lot / where you would park your car for specific parts on it. Pretty much the pits area. And what I realized is that they couldn't really coordinate how to get the cars to line up to actually to stage them so they can actually go and race. So it was a super long line that came back like a big U, which kind of sucked, because once you did the road race and you come all the way around, right, you go right back in the same line. So some people didn't race yet, and they were just going on the line to go left, and some people would race and come back around. So it was like 2 lines conversion into one. Really didn't like that part that much. But as the day went, they actually got this together and realized that's not a good system. So I give them that. Also on top of that, what I would add is, well, I guess because they're still learning it and how quickly they're trying to turn over the cars, I guess some people are still new to this and they don't understand, including myself. So They may get down to the bottom of the track and they didn't know where to turn off. Maybe there was some communications between the starting line and the far end. So I realized that actually took a lot away from as much runs as people getting, because not a lot of people cars were breaking. It was just that it was the turnover time to get the next cars in was just taking super long. And when you're paying like $100, which is a better price to pay for this type of event, you want to get as much runs as you can get in. So moving forward, once I'm waiting in line, they call you up and everything stages properly. They have an actual tree. They have the lights or the sync and everything timed up properly with the 2 stages, and then green and then red, then yellow, then green, whatever the color is, whatever. They have it staged up like that, and everything worked pretty good. Now, it is an unprep service, so they don't use any type of chemical or VHT or anything like that to actually get better grip, because you don't want to kill duckies, and I get it. And the track surface wasn't too bad. I mean, I'm on coilovers, I have them pretty stiff, like 24K in the front, and it's pretty fine. I really didn't have no problem. It's a pretty level surface, at least for my running on my 500 wheel horsepower category. And then you get down to end of strip. Now, what I will add is, from what I do know, for if you're watching it as a spectator, the way you would know who won is, well, let me just quickly say this. You don't really know who jumps, because I realized that from watching, if someone jumped, it doesn't really say that they jumped. Like, usually the light would flash like red light, but I didn't see that happen. So if someone did jump, it doesn't say, oh God, he jumped. Like, it doesn't flash a red light. It just, the lights still go green. And whoever gets to the end first, then that's the light, that corresponding light to that lane is what lights up. So you would actually know who wins based on that. But an actual official track, you know that would be a jump and there'll be automatic disqualification. But in this case, I didn't see that happen with them. When you get all the way to the end, there's 2 different exits. There's one exit where you can actually, the first exit when you're coming off, you can still make that exit if you're not going too fast. You can literally make that exit, but they blocked it off. They want you to have enough space to come to a full stop if you wanted to. And I gotta tell you this right now, there's plenty of space to shut down, to really slow down. It's plenty of space. Compared to the event that I went with to my fame, this one is plenty of stopping space. So I definitely give them that. I really love that they utilized the whole airfield. Compared to the other event that I went to out here, racetrack, not street, that was an 8th mile track, only digs only, but it was very super short. Like, after you did it, it was like, oh, that's it. And I didn't like the way racetrack, not street, where they set up their track. It was just funny. Where you usually break, it just felt funny. It was like more stones and rocks and more cement, but I could be wrong. Then you come all the way around. Now, so you can actually come back up the runway on the complete other side. And that side is, once again, it's just the whole full runway going back. And I'm not gonna lie, like, it was kind of cool knowing that they have a whole other airstrip that they could utilize. So you can actually do two of them. Because I always wondered, like, how would they do the roll race? But they actually do everything within the same staging lane. So if you want to do the roll race, then the first set of orange cones would be, the first set of orange cones is where you would hit it. And then you would floor it for the 3rd mile or whatever, and the lights will still go off. They actually still have the same time and lights for you, which is actually pretty dope. So you still know who actually kind of ahead. And even doing that, from what I can see, like, there's still, at least racing, there's plenty of space you can actually come to a full stop. Once again, so I actually still like that about the track. When you come all the way back around, from what I know, you can get your times, but I don't know where to get it from. I didn't know where to get it. Everything's super spaced out. I still didn't understand that part, but it is what it is. You come back around, and then you can stage up again. Now, knowing that this was my first time going to it, the wait time was just a long time. It took about 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. I would say about 40 minutes each time around for me to get another run in. And I did come a bit late today, that's this day, so I didn't really want to deal with it. Like, I was just like over it. You know, I already drove out there for like an hour, some change on the highway. I know some people might have came farther. I was like, all right, let me just start driving back to New York, because by the time they close, I know there's a lot more traffic going back into NYC. But what I would say is, for the first event, I really did enjoy it. It was fun. It was good to get back out there. Now let's move forward a little bit, talk about my own personal feelings about taking the Q60 out there for people who actually made it to this part, that actually follow the Boost in Motion channel. What I would also sit there and say is, even though I was like the only Infinity Q60 out there was only a couple of Infinities out there, literally a couple. What I gotta sit there and say is, in the automotive world, Infinities don't really get that much respect. And I really mean that. Like, I love the underdog car. I still take myself as an Infinity Q50 if I was a person, if I was a car, because it's an underdog. And I really miss my Infinity Q50. Like, it was a super dope car, and it really punched above its glass ceiling. The Q60 does the same thing, but it's not known in the community for just being out there and being very powerful. You know, people just they want a fast car, they go and buy a fast car. That's usually the saying that people say. Or you build a fast car. But there are specific cars I was used as, for instance, like a Toyota Supra, who punch so high above the glass ceiling that they command respect. So when you go to the racetrack, people don't, if you're like, yo, I want to race you, and they're like, what you got? Oh, I got a Toyota Supra. They're like, all right, cool, because they already kind of know it's a pretty fast car, it's a pretty powerful car, and they just want to know and gauge where they're at with it. When you say Infinity Q6, they're like, wait, what? Like, they know Infinity, but Q60 is not something that even makes noise in the world. So they're like, what is that? You know, they don't know that it's pretty much a baby GTR and can make GTR power with just upgraded turbos, but there's not enough people out there putting in the work to do so. And I'm gonna tell you guys straight, with all honesty, I'm not gonna be the dude to do that. I'm not gonna be the dude because I don't have the love for the Q60 like I have for the Q50. It was just not the same love. Like, the Q60 was really something I had to get a car because my car got hit, if you guys remember, and I just needed something to get in. And I did like the Q60 look, but it wasn't really part of my plan. But it ended up here, and I do enjoy it. But I just know, and talking to different people at the track, they didn't care about the Q60. And it's not only for the fact that I know it's like more on the slower end compared to the amount of wheel horsepower that's out there, but it was just that if I did, they were like, oh no, I'll just race my boy right here, because it was just like people want to punch above. No one really wants to do a lateral, and I get it. Everyone want to punch above and see how they can compare. They want to be able to know where they're at with their power level. Like with my Q60, I would have wanted to race, like, let's say a stage 1 M3, you know, a stage 1 M3, like a S58, S55 M3. But you know, those guys didn't want to race me. They didn't really care for it. They actually wanted to race other BMWs and other faster, more hyper cars, you know. And as you go up in the spectrum, like I talked about with the E63 and M5, I'm like, as much as I would want to get that gauge, I know they wouldn't even want to race me because they already know they're going to give me deuces, you know what I'm saying? They already knew they were going to do that. So that's why I was like, you know what, let me not kill myself. Let me just have fun. Now, moving forward, next week, because they did reschedule everything, I'm going to be taking the C63 out there. I'm going to go out there. Remember, my C63 only has secondary cap lead and a JB4 boost controller. I mean, I could add a little bit E30 in there or like boost aim, but outside of that, like, that's pretty much it. And I'm only doing road races with that car, so I'm really hoping that turns out pretty well. And I'm actually pretty excited to take the C63 out there and just see what the difference will actually be. Because I never really did road racing, which is pretty much like highway racing. Never really do it. So we're gonna try that out and see if that works and see if we can make some content with the C63. So outside that, the scramble event was still pretty good. I hope that next week they really do get it together and have everything in order and shape so that when we come out there, we can just get to the race a lot quicker and, you know, hopefully be a better event. Also, what I want to tell you guys, because you still made this part, I forgot to put this in the early part of the video. As a spectator, there's plenty of spaces. There's plenty of space to park. They do have 2 or 3 concession stands. I believe they had an ice cream truck, and I believe they had a food truck. The prices are pretty fair. I didn't buy any food, but it looked pretty good. And there was I really wish that the place had bleachers. Like, you can only stand to the side and look down the track if you watch any videos, or if you stand right in front, right behind where they race. And if you're not a tall person, taller than everyone else, you really don't have a good view. You really can't see that much. So it does remind you of like kind of a street racing type of vibe where they block off the highways and you stand like behind people trying to look. So it gave you that feeling, but then I really didn't enjoy that much. I really wish they utilized some kind of bleachers, at least maybe to the side, so that you guys can be able to like see straight down the track, even if you turn left. It would have been so much more better. And maybe I would even add, as a super dope thing if they do this, is not only do they go off they can go off the light which blinks, let you know who won. I don't know, maybe they'll maybe just I would say for purposes of getting people on and off the track a lot faster, maybe they'll have maybe they already have like two-way radios or whatever, and they're like, all right, cool, clear, send the next car. Like, I don't really know if they did that. At least I didn't pay attention, so I can't say that. I can't put that on Scramble because I really wasn't paying attention. I had on a freaking helmet, but I don't know if that was really a thing. I don't know if they were just going off if the cars got off the road or not. But outside of that, guys, you have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. Thank you, Scramble. I really appreciate you guys, and hopefully I could be part of the media team next week and get a little bit of different views. But outside of that, guys, you have a good morning, good afternoon, good night. Thank you, appreciate it. You have a good day. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Do appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. You can also check out the 2 links I posted for some of my other videos. Also, on top of that, if you want to purchase some Boost in Motion merch, definitely check the link that I posted also. And finally, if you've been watching all my videos and you enjoy them, please hit the link to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.